Ever felt like you were drowning in a sea of tasks, but you just can't seem to find the motivation to dive in? We have all been there. It's a common struggle in our fast-paced, tech-driven world. But have you ever stopped to consider the difference between distraction and procrastination? These two words might sound similar, but they represent vastly different behaviors that can significantly impact our lives. In today's episode, we're going to talk about and look at the difference between distraction and procrastination. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. My name is Jason, and you can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, iHeart, and Amazon. A Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. Now, if you would like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. That's catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. Welcome to episode 69, Distraction versus Procrastination, a Modern Perspective. Let's start by defining our terms, okay? Distraction. Well, distraction is a temporary interruption of focus, often triggered by external stimuli. It's like a sudden gust of wind that momentarily blows you off course. A notification, a sudden noise, or a passing through can all be distractions. Meanwhile, procrastination, this is the deliberate delay of a task despite the awareness of a negative consequence. It's a conscious choice to postpone, often masked by the excuses or lack of motivation. Now, while distraction is often involuntary, procrastination is a voluntary act. It's a choice we make, a habit we cultivate. So why do we get distracted and procrastinate? The answer lies in the intricacies of the human mind. One common reason is the fear of failure. When faced with a challenging task, our minds may subconsciously seek easier and less demanding activities to avoid potential disappointment. Perfectionism. Striving for perfection can be a double-edged sword. While it can motivate us to be our best and do our best, it can also paralyze us with fear of not meeting unrealistic standards. Lack of motivation. Sometimes we simply lack the motivation to start or continue a task. This could be due to a variety of factors such as boredom, stress, or lack of clear goals. Instant gratification. Our brains are wired for immediate rewards. This can lead us to prioritize short-term pleasures over long-term goals. Social media, video games, and other forms of entertainment can be highly addictive, making it difficult to resist their allure. The consequences of distraction and procrastination can be significant. They can erode our productivity, damage our relationships, and hinder our personal and professional growth. When we're constantly distracted, it's difficult to focus on a single task. This can lead to decreased productivity, missed deadlines, and a lower quality of work. Procrastination can lead to stress and anxiety. As deadlines approach, we may feel overwhelmed and panicky. Neglecting our responsibilities due to the distraction or procrastination can strain our relationships with loved ones and colleagues. By delaying important tasks, we may miss out on valuable opportunities. Let me tell you a story about someone who really struggled with procrastination. Angela was a talented writer, but she often found herself staring at a blank page for hours on end. She knew she had the ideas, but she couldn't seem to get the words flowing. The pressure to produce something was overwhelming, and she found herself scrolling through social media or watching videos instead of writing. Angela was caught in a cycle of distraction and procrastination, and it was taking a toll not only on her mental health, but her productivity. Distraction and procrastination can have a significant impact on our lives. When we're constantly distracted, it's difficult to focus and be productive. We might miss important deadlines, make mistakes, and feel overwhelmed. Procrastination, on the other hand, can lead to stress anxiety, and a sense of guilt. It can also damage our relationships and hinder our career growth. But don't worry, there are ways to overcome distraction and procrastination. Here's a few strategies that have helped countless people. So you know what to do. Grab a pen, a paper, a marker, a Sharpie, a whiteboard, or your phone. Let's write them down. So let's look at this top 5. Number 1, create a conducive environment. Find a quiet, clutter-free space where you can focus without having any interruptions. Number 2, set realistic goals. Break down the large tasks into smaller or manageable steps. Or, in other words, take the big rocks and make them into little rocks. Number 3, prioritize your tasks. Determine which tasks are most important and focus on those first. Number 4, use the Pomodoro technique. Work 25 focused minutes followed by a short break. So take 25 minutes of focused work and then give yourself a short break and then get back to it, and so on and so forth. Finally, practice mindfulness. Learn to be in the present moment and avoid getting caught up in negative thoughts. A couple of ways that we can do this is through meditation. Regular meditation can help us develop greater focus and self-awareness. Deep breathing. Simple, deep breathing exercises can calm the mind and reduce stress. And finally, journaling. Writing down our thoughts and feelings can help us gain clarity and perspective. Now, one philosophy that can be particularly helpful in overcoming distractions and procrastination is Stoicism. Stoics believe that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. By practicing Stoic principles, we can learn to manage our emotions and stay focused on our goals. Distraction and procrastination are common challenges, but they don't have to control our lives. By understanding the differences between these two behaviors and implementing effective strategies, we can overcome these obstacles and achieve our goals. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about progress. So take a deep breath, focus on what matters, and don't let distraction and procrastination hold you back. Every small step you take brings you closer to your dreams. So let's commit to being more mindful and focused and more productive. Let's break free from the chains of distraction and procrastination and embrace a life of purpose and fulfillment. Well, folks, thanks so much for listening. If you found this podcast helpful, please share it with a friend and make sure to subscribe for more motivational content. This has been the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. My name is Jason, and you can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, iHeart, and Amazon. Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. If you'd like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. That's catalystmotivationpodcast@gmail.com. We want to thank you so much for listening to episode 69, and we'll see you next time for episode 70. Go be great.